he is of no help whatsoever. Other than, what a great shirt. Look, can I wear that on the show today?
Yeah, you should.
Oh, wow. I wish I had one.
You guys give me a little bit of sound? Check.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's Football Friday on the Sports Show with Mark Kiszla. You know who he is, and I'm Woody Paige, and this show is presented by the Denver Post, and we've got a full hour ahead of many, many things. We'll talk of sailing ships and wax.
You're going to do poetry?
Yeah.
Woody's Deaf Poetry Jam?
Yeah.
You want me to tell you the big stuff?
And you're going to do the big stuff, which is a lot more important than any of the stuff that I can give you.
It's Football Friday, as you mentioned. And as part of Football Friday, our fine beat writer, Troy Rink, will give his insights from Dove Valley. And I need to know, will Peyton Manning admit that this is indeed his last rodeo? And when do I start getting residual checks for that phrase?
Let me give you a piece of advice. Nobody's listening now.
Okay.
I didn't copyright Orange Crush.
Yeah.
I just saw the Sports Illustrated cover. It says Orange Rush on it. Yeah. I didn't copyright the Broncos copyrighted Orange Crush.
Yeah.
I didn't copyright Blake Street Bombers.
Yeah.
And my friend Craig Caldwell, who owned Blake Street Ballpark, did, and he made a fortune off that. The Broncos are still making a fortune off Orange Crush. The can was too generic. But we had a friend who wrote a column for the Rocky Mountain News that came up with Rocktober.
Yeah.
And the Rockies copyrighted that, and he didn't make a penny off that. So I'm giving you a piece of fatherly advice, because you kind of refer to me that way, is call your attorney today. You can get the copyright on The Last Rodeo and sell T-shirts next week.
Okay.
Or anytime that people refer to it, or if people put out, you have copyright pending. So get in front of that. Do you know a guy went to San Antonio, flew to San Antonio from his home, and copyrighted, trademarked San Antonio Raiders?
He did?
He's going to make a fortune off that. You and I today, I know we're going to get into the show in a moment. You and I today are going to get on a plane to Las Vegas on the way to San Francisco, and we're going to, in the state of Nevada, copyright the name Las Vegas Raiders.
I like the idea.
I want to bring that up. And so if you're listening out there, you can beat us to it, because there are people, somebody owned Colorado Rockies, and they had to buy it from him before they could do ColoradoRockies.com.
Is that right?
There was a guy who went around the country and came up with sports names that he thought might happen, who's living in comfort somewhere. This is DPTV. We'll start with segment 1. Why and how is this Broncos team and this Super Bowl going to be different from the last one? You referred to the Broncos and this city, my fine city that I live in, is Choke City. How do the Broncos approach this game differently? I'm not saying approach the actual game, but approach their preparations so that it's different when they play.
I think that the personality of this defense and the feistiness of this defense and the attitude this defense has of, we don't care who you are, we don't care what you think, we're coming to play some serious football. I think that will serve the Broncos well. I think the team was uptight, unprepared, lost in the Super Bowl against Seattle. I don't think that Chris Harris and Von Miller and Aqib Talib and the rest of the fellas will allow that to happen.
The Broncos are staying in Santa Clara.
Yes, they are. Within shouting distance, walking distance of the stadium.
Stay there.
Don't move.
Do not
have a getaway hotel.
I'm okay with that, but don't be going into San Francisco. Do not be going to strip bars. I'm talking to you, but I don't mean you.
Won't. I promise, Mom, I won't.
But I'm talking to the Broncos. Gary Kubiak has allowed the players to set their own curfew, meaning that the two leaders, elder statesmen of the team, Peyton Manning and DeMarcus Ware are supposed to kind of feel out the players and figure out what it is. Okay, Sunday night, stay out as long as you want to. Don't get into trouble. Don't go to places you shouldn't go.
Now you do sound like my dad.
Monday and Tuesday, early in the week,
Yeah.
go out and have dinner, go out and have a few drinks, and then Wednesday, you have a curfew at 10 o'clock, and if you want, of staying in the hotel, if you want to stay in the hotel Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night, bring in food, stay in the hotel. If you want to go to San Francisco someday, go next week.
Okay.
The week after, or go 2 weeks from now. Go to wine country then. But approach this as if this is the most important week of your life.
I can't picture Von Miller in wine country doing the little dance at Cakewood Cellars. But I hear what you're saying. This is a business trip. But you know what I don't entirely...
Don't go all Eugene Robinson on us here.
Okay, I got what you're saying. I do not go all Eugene Robinson. That's not what you're there for. But I don't think you should have lockdown in the hotel, because I think they are grown men. Let them enjoy it. Doesn't mean you have to go out and trip the light fantastic. Doesn't mean you have to be out until 3 in the morning. But Peyton Manning doesn't have to be walking up and down the hallway saying, "Are you in there, Vaughn? Are you in there, Antonio?" No, he doesn't have to do that.
But I think there are things to do. You can have movies in the hotel. If I'm Gary Kubiak and the staff, I show great movies. Everybody likes to see.
That's an all right idea. Bring in the popcorn machine, have movies, and because I suggested, what is movie night without cans of PBR? This is what I really want to know.
All right.
And I'm glad you put this question in here. Speaking of the last rodeo, will Peyton during Super Bowl week admit that the Super Bowl is his last game? I know you and I both believe that it is.
I don't believe it is. I know it is.
Okay.
And that's not. I'm not quoting sources here. I was with his agent the other night, Friday night. You've talked to his father and everything else. He hasn't revealed to anybody whether this is his last game. It's his last game. He brought his kid up on the podium for the press conference. He walked across the field. He's preparing himself for the last game.
Will he say?
I think he will not say it till after. A small part of me thinks that he would pick a moment sometime during the week to use that as a motivational tool to his players.
Saturday night, the night before, say, "Hey, this is the last rodeo. I want to thank all you guys for being there with me, and let's go out and have one more root tootin' good time." Or however you want
If
to
I
say
were
it.
him, I would do that. I believe, though, he's going to do this, and he needs to do it for the Broncos' sake, too. He needs
Right.
to say that so they can get on with Brock Osweiler, they can get on with their lives. I don't want him waiting around to January, February, and I don't want John Elway and the Broncos being
To have
thrust
to
in a
push
position
him.
of saying, we're not having him back. That's why we're having conversations with Brock Osweiler.
Well,
So,
okay.
Why not do it? I mean,
Okay, this is why not do it. If he'd said it Monday night at media night or Wednesday at 9 a.m., that seems to me to make you. This doesn't fit with Peyton Manning to me. That would make Super Bowl week all about him, and I don't really think he wants it to be all about him.
But you came up with the solution.
Right.
That you either Saturday night or Sunday night or Sunday morning
Right.
before they go and say to the players, "Hey guys, this is it for me."
No, I think that works.
This segment brought to you by John Elway Cadillac of Park Meadows, Colorado's #1 Cadillac dealer.
When you go to buy a car, what do you really want? You probably want a lot of cars to choose from. And you want the dealership's best price. Not some starting price or target price, the best price. And you want it immediately, not after hours of negotiating. And you want a salesperson who doesn't get paid more if you spend more. Because, well, you don't want to spend more. Well, you're in luck. John Elway wants all of those things too. Better yet, John Elway wants you to have all of those things too. Come see us or click on johnelwaychevrolet.com.
Let me correct my mistake. We're brought to you today by John Elway Chevrolet. John Elway Cadillac is in Park Meadows. John Elway Chevrolet is on South Broadway, right by the Black Eyed Pea. And John's going to a new place. I go to the Black Eyed Pea for my pot roast. That's a free tell. So, who has the edge on offense? And why?
Carolina has a distinct edge on offense, I believe. They've scored a touchdown more a game than Broncos have throughout the season, and Cam Newton is as dangerous dual threat quarterback as there is in the NFL, and Peyton Manning is now a game manager. I think that if it becomes just an offensive game, the Broncos are going to have a tough time winning that game.
I was listening to shows. I was on Rich Eisen's.
I saw Rich plug you on Twitter, you big timer.
And I keep thinking, it's been referred to twice this morning to me about John Elway's record season of a couple of years ago.
Peyton Manning's record season?
Peyton Manning,
okay,
yeah, I'm sorry. Peyton Manning's record season. I saw a game this year where he looked like that John Elway. Green Bay.
Yeah.
Then after Green Bay got hurt.
Okay.
When he came back, because I heard a guy saying, "Oh, it's going to be a Carolina blowout," who's not from here, who said Elway is a turnover machine. He hasn't had an interception in the 2.5 games since he's come back. Now I put an asterisk because that goofy pass to Ronnie Hillman.
Right, that's a fumble, though.
And he was credited with the fumble.
Yeah, but it's Ronnie Hillman's fault.
Ronnie Hillman should have picked it up.
Okay, so this is where you're going. Are you telling me that Peyton Manning's going to outplay Cam Newton, or is it at least possible?
Well, why isn't that possible? Because we did see it against the Green Bay Packers. We know the Packers were found out to be frauds. We saw him adjusting to a new offense earlier in the year.
True.
That didn't work, and he went to the pistol, which in retrospect was not really. He either needs to be in the shotgun or under center. I think it's quite possible, and you and I keep talking about it last rodeo, that he goes out in style. Think about John Elway in his last game. He was named the MVP in the Super Bowl. He was washed up at that point. But the year before,
Terrell Davis drug him through to the Super Bowl win, but that last game, Elway's last game against Atlanta in the Super Bowl, he was the best player on the field.
He had 320 yards passing, a couple of touchdowns, ran for about 40 yards. I think he knew, because I heard Mike Kliss talking yesterday on some radio station, who used to be with the Post, now with Channel 9, and he said John was getting questioned all week about whether that was his last game. I don't remember that. I don't remember that. And then I heard somebody say, well, John really wanted to come back. Well, I think you remember that during the San Jose Avalanche playoff series, I went up and found John coming off a golf course.
Right.
And he was limping.
Right.
And he said, I don't want to go through the rehabilitation again. I quit. I've won 2 Super Bowls. So I don't remember the same sort of swirling, swarming kind of flies around John Elway then. Maybe my memory is going on me. But I think that Peyton can go out. There's the capability there to go out with a great game.
I don't disagree with that. And having seen...
I don't think he's the washed up, old, tired quarterback. I think he's what the Broncos set out the season to do, to have him rested for the playoffs.
Okay, I would agree with that part. And I've seen Carolina give up a lot of points to the Giants, give up a lot of points to the Saints. I don't think this is necessarily a low-scoring game, so I'll agree with you there. Let me ask you this. Josh Norman, the fine Carolina cornerback, says he respects Peyton Manning and will bow to him if he makes an interception. Josh says, he's rooting for Manning, but he wants a ring. is Norman Payton's biggest problem, and who wins that battle?
Between Norman and Demaryius Thomas, there's a lot of questions on the floor, but who wins the battle between Demaryius Thomas and Josh Norman? I think Josh Norman wins it because Demaryius Thomas has not. We just talked about Peyton Manning and the seasons he's had. We talk over and over again about Demaryius Thomas for 1,400 yards and 100 catches or whatever he had a terrible season. Let's face it, he had a terrible season. He didn't have
substandard for sure. By his high standards.
His playoff games haven't been any better. In front of his mother, he wasn't any better. Patriots, he wasn't any better. Josh Norman's a great cornerback. He is a Richard Sherman wannabe kind of who's really emerged this year. He won the battle against the last great wide receiver he faced from the Giants you just talked about. He won that
Odell
battle.
Beckham Jr.
Yeah, he won that battle. I just don't see any signs that Demaryius is suddenly going to wake up, Rip Van Thomas, and have a great game. I mean, do you?
Okay, but I don't think necessarily that Josh Norman has to be a key. The other corner, unlike the Broncos, who have 2 great corners, or maybe 3 great corners if you want to throw Bradley Roby in there, the corner opposite Josh Norman, Robert McClain, he's not that good. So let Josh Norman take away half the field. The Broncos don't have just one wide receiver. They have Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. Josh Norman can lock down one, but he can't lock down both.
If you were Manning, wouldn't you just say, I'm going to throw the ball with Emmanuel all the time? I'll just let the two of them play with each other over there in regard to hands on each other and pushing back and forth and everything. I'm going to go to my dependable guy over here. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago against Pittsburgh, he dropped 1 or 2 passes. Only 2 passes I remember him dropping. He made a great catch against the Patriots. I mean, he just reached over a guy. I go to Emmanuel Sanders 15 times in a game. I make him an Antonio Brown. I just keep going to him over and over again. Out of the slot, out of the wide receiver. I hand it off to him on end arounds.
You're a man with a plan.
Yeah. Check out Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic because sexual issues can be symptoms of other more serious conditions: diabetes, strokes, heart attacks, high blood pressure, prostate issues, stress, obesity, and a variety of other problems that can lead to sexual problems. They have diagnostic ultrasound, testosterone, PSA testing, all to help you lead a full, rich life. It's not just sexual health, it's total health. And Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic is the #1 men's clinic in all of the Rocky Mountains.
Is a lack of intimacy at home starting to affect your performance on the course? There are many factors like high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol that may be contributing to your erectile dysfunction. Get back in the game with one visit to Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, offering same-day solutions for all erectile dysfunction and premature issues. And you get to try the medications containing FDA ingredients right in their office. Let the providers at Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic help you get your confidence back. And be sure to ask about the $99 limited time special. Call today.
Kiszla of the Denver Post, Colorado's premier columnist. I am Woody Paige of ESPN, author
Friend
of
of
many,
Rich Eisen.
And I got in the background, when you look over Mark's shoulder, you'll see Super Broncos. I've already got it on the presses, ready to go. No. Peyton Manning said he wasn't going to write a book. Should one of us, and you kind of wrote a Peyton Manning kind of book.
I kind of wrote a Peyton Manning book.
Yeah, but should we write his biography, one of us, or both of us?
Sure.
His story, if he's not going to tell it, somebody should tell it, shouldn't
Somebody should tell this story.
Yeah.
Let's talk about defense. Which of these 2 defenses has the edge?
Well, they're 1 and 2 overall. Yeah. Kiszla is one of the 3 best linebackers in the league.
Would you put Vaughn in that same category?
Yeah, they're 2 different kind of. One is a
edge guy, and one's controls is the general of the middle of the field.
I would compare Kiszla against Brandon Marshall if you're going to compare linebackers of who.
Well, then and I love Brandon Marshall, but there is no comparison.
Yeah. But that's where you compare. You pick.
I got you. You're right.
So, in regard to the defense, you said it. The Broncos have better cornerbacks.
Yeah.
I think the Broncos and the Panthers linebackers, I'll give a slight edge to the Broncos because of the 2 outside linebackers. I give an edge inside to the Panthers. So that's even with a slight edge because of Von Miller to the Broncos. I give an edge to The Panthers on the defensive line. So if I'm looking at the overall defense, I got two segments of the three that I give the Broncos a slight edge. I think it evens out, though. During the course of the game, I think the two defenses are going to even out and be both strong and not allow a great deal to the offenses. Agree or disagree?
I want to agree, and I see a scenario the Broncos winning this game 20-16. I can see that happening. Early, and I reserve the right to change my mind on this. But early on, this is a theme I'm getting to. I think this game's going to be higher scoring than most people think. I think if I'm going to buy your idea that Peyton Manning isn't washed up, that he can move the football, and I'm, of course, going to buy the idea that Cam Newton's had an MVP caliber season, 35 passing touchdowns. Then there's a game. Then I see a scenario where this game could be 31-28.
Oh, well,
okay.
Let me give you an X factor.
Yes.
I wrote it down.
ELI.
Electric Light Orchestra.
No, that would be ELI is a famous quarterback's brother. Isn't he? He's a famous quarterback himself.
He's playing at the Pro Bowl. One of the few people that decide to go. We have a week to talk about this. He said, I don't know any more than any of the rest of you about when he's going to retire. I'd like to see him ride off into the sunset, last rodeo. Eli's now picking up on your theme. Do you not think that this guy, since the Giants scored a lot of points against the Panthers,
34, 35 points.
this guy is going to call his brother?
Oh, of course, they've already talked about it. I mean, I don't know that for a fact, but I'd be shocked if they have not.
This guy is going to be important in the game. He has won 2 Super Bowls. He has scored a lot of points against the Panthers. Eli Manning is going to give intel. He's going to, as much as Peyton Manning studies film, studies opponents, studies defense, he hasn't seen this team since 2012. Beat him pretty bad then. He hasn't seen this team. I doubt he's paid attention to them until the last 2 or 3 weeks. This guy is going to help him more than Gary Kubiak or Knapp or Dennison or anybody else. Eli Manning is going to say, brother, older brother, these are the routes that are going to work against them.
Okay, let me ask you this. This sounds right up your alley. Nick Kiszla has been signed from the stands of the practice squad to imitate Greg Olsen on the practice field. Should he actually dress up and play instead of Vernon Davis at tight end for the Broncos?
I don't remember him at the CU. I don't know where I was, but did you know him well when he was playing for the Buffaloes?
I don't know Nick Kiszla, so I will
said he played for CU, and I went, boy, he wasn't a factor up there. He played a bit with the Raiders, and I don't remember that. I think Vernon Davis, I think they said to Vernon Davis, we gave you your chance. We wanted you to be a part of the offense, and you couldn't. You can't be a part of the offense. I don't think they'll do it, but I think they are thinking about doing it.
Okay.
That they would look at this guy on the practice squad, and they could elevate him at the end of the week. They could elevate him. If they think he's good, they brought him in for a reason other than to just be Greg Olsen. They thought, here's what I think they're thinking. As someone familiar with the way they're thinking, there's a guy sitting in the stands. They didn't know he was sitting in the stands. He broke his phone. He didn't even know they were offering him a job. There's a guy sitting in the stands that, we kind of liked him over the years, that he's been floating around. Wonder if he's in shape. Let's put him on the practice squad. Let's look at him in 3 or 4 days. We might want to make that change. I mean, do you think it's possible?
I think it's within the realm of possibility, and I can't see a happy ending in the Super Bowl for Vernon Davis, but I believe they're going to dress Vernon Davis out. I can't see him Peyton throwing to Vernon Davis on 3rd and 7 in the third quarter.
Could you make him inactive? John Elway Chevrolet out on South Broadway. You just go south on Broadway. You'll see it on the left side. It's right past those Duffy Rolls. Boy, they're great. You ever had the Duffy Rolls?
Yes, I have.
Oh, wow. So you stop at Duffy Rolls, you get some of those hot Duffy Rolls, go over and look at all the cars at John Elway Chevrolet.
When you go to buy a car, what do you really want? You probably want a lot of cars to choose from. And you want the dealership's best price. Not some starting price or target price, the best price, and you want it immediately, not after hours of negotiating. And you want a salesperson who doesn't get paid more if you spend more, because, well, you don't want to spend more. Well, you're in luck. John Elway wants all of those things too. Better yet, John Elway wants you to have all of those things too. Come see us or click on johnelwaychevrolet.com.
Mark Kiszla knows that this is one of day, and I don't know the name of it. I don't know who this guy is, so will you give us all the pertinent information?
Happy to help you out, Woody. My name is Hugh Johnson. I'm a digital sports producer with the Denver Post, and this is What's Trending Now.
Well, what is that?
This is my shirt. It's Darth Vader, Casual Friday.
You're rocking the Darth Vader?
Darth Vader, yeah.
What's trending, buddy?
Just for future reference, though, we don't have Casual Friday on the show. Every day is Casual Day.
Alrighty, guys. So our top story today is a story about the Broncos Super Bowl tickets. In this story, it says that the Broncos received about 11,000 to 12,000 tickets. They gave some to the season ticket holders for the lottery.
Give them to them.
Well, offer them at face value, right? And then they sell some to Prime Sport, who is a broker. A lot of people are kind of talking about this, saying win or lose, the lottery is fine. It's wrong, however, if the fans support the team year after year, and we get to the Super Bowl, take tickets which could be included in the lottery and sell them to a broker. Guys, is this the Broncos fan being the Broncos organization being disloyal to the fans, or should they be more transparent about how they handle these Super Bowl tickets?
Well, I've been through this 8 times, and I bring it up about every 5 years or whatever they're in the Super Bowl. This is the way it is. The NFL is not for the fan. It's for the corporate sponsors, and
Especially the Super Bowl.
that's what I'm talking about, the Super Bowl. And it's not fair. But when you got 60,000 they've got about 25,000 season ticket holders, because I think it's 3.1 per season ticket holder. So it's not as many as people give it, because people have 4 tickets, they have 2. So, and they try to offer those 25,000 people about 2 tickets. Well, they're not going to be happy if you give them or sell them 2 tickets, because they want 4 or 6. The only way you can do it is to say 50,000 or 35,000 seats in the stadium are for the one team and 35 for the other team, and they're never going to do that, because actually 20,000 are for Kraft and for not Robert Kraft, but for Gillette, for Budweiser, for Coors, for Chevrolet, whatever. It's not fair. Here's what I would have done, though. I would have said, if you've gone before, you're not in the lottery. We're going to put in the lottery the people that didn't get the tickets the last time. Does that seem fair at all?
That does seem fair. And I do agree with you that the Super Bowl is a corporate party. It's not the common man's party. But let me say one thing real quickly. This really, really, really ticks me off. If you've been a customer of the Denver Broncos for 20 plus years and you don't give all your tickets away in the lottery, then you are not a good member of your community. The Broncos have been great in this community for decades, but this is garbage.
Well, can I disagree with you?
No, it's garbage. Somebody pays money for 25 years and keeps tickets in the family, and then you send your tickets to Prime Sports so you can sell it, so you can scalp your own fans. You know the governor, and the governor's upset because in New York there were Seattle fans there and there weren't Denver fans. Well, you know what? One reason why is because you do stuff like this. You make it hard for your own people, your own fans, to go to the game. And I'll calm down, but this really ticks me off.
Okay.
This ticks me off big time. This is wrong. It is flat out wrong.
You know I'm not a homer. You know that.
I got that. I'm not either.
I went to Prime Sports. All right. So he and his best friend want to go.
Right.
And the tickets are going to cost $1,500. That face value tickets.
I got you.
All right, so that's $3,000. A hotel room, we're getting hotel rooms out there, are going to cost you $300 or $400 a night. So 4 nights, that's another $1,000. I'm just saying it. Airfare, $600. Prime Sports is selling tickets, and you get some a party or something, for the low threes, 3,400, that's not much more per person than you trying to do it on your own and maybe not being able to get an airfare ticket, a reservation.
I think
maybe
if you
not,
looked up Prime Sports and you found a
Well,
tailgate party that doesn't get you a ticket, it costs you like what, $175 to go to a tailgate party?
We have the ranges of the packages that Prime Sports offers. It's $2,000 to $7,500. So
what, the 2,000 includes a ticket?
includes the ticket. So this is the travel package.
I don't think I'd like you to revisit that because I went on there for my own curiosity to see, and I didn't see anything for $2,000 that included a ticket to the game. You can get stuff that that a tailgate party.
that's what I wonder as well.
Yeah,
All
so
I know is
we-
last Friday, this Monday, the day after they beat New England, I asked the Broncos about this topic, and they shut me down.
Right.
And I was like, well, because you're not treating your fans fairly. That's why.
Next one.
All right, guys. We've talked about the offense all season long. It's had its ups, it's had its downs. In the second half of the AFC Championship game, the Broncos only managed 4 first down and 83 yards. Are you worried about another offensive drought in the Super Bowl?
Nah, I'm not. I am persuaded myself that Peyton Manning's going to have a good game against Carolina. We keep hearing the Broncos haven't played anybody like Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. Well, I will tell you this. Carolina Panthers had the easiest schedule in the National Football League. They played a lot of dogs, and the Broncos had to beat the Patriots and the Bengals, and they had to beat the Steelers, and they had to beat everybody in their division. The Panthers were playing in a division with Tampa Bay and Atlanta, 2 teams that sucked. Let's face it, New Orleans wasn't any good. Those were 6 of their games. They played the Giants, who weren't any good, and they barely beat them.
East, yeah.
They beat the Arizona Cardinals at home. The Arizona Cardinals had 7 turnovers. How many times did that happen in the whole world? I'm just saying, before we put them on a pedestal and declare them the 85 Bears, let's actually see how this game plays out.
I was having this debate with Troy Ring earlier today, and I do respect Carolina's 17-1 record. That's hard to do, but you're absolutely right. The Broncos have beaten more good teams than anybody in the NFL. They've beaten 7 foes with winning records, and the Panthers have beaten 4, 2 of which have been in the playoffs. So you're right. The Panthers are very good and to be respected at 17-1, but they aren't a juggernaut.
All right, that's it for me, guys.
And who are you?
My name is Hugh Johnson. I'm a digital sports producer with the Denver Post. You can find me on Twitter at Hugh Johnson DP, and this has been What's Trending Now.
And you can find him at Star Wars. He's seen it already 15 times, I bet.
That's Vader.
That's your guy? Is Darth Vader in the latest one?
No, I mean he makes a little appearance. You can see his mask.
That's okay. Live guest, and he qualifies. Appear courtesy of Papa John's. Darth Vader qualifies too. The day after every Avalanche win, get 50% off regular menu prices online orders using the promo code AVS. At my favorite, I really like, of all of the delivery places, I like Papa John's because Hugh and I like to watch constructing our pizza at the new papajohns.com.
When the Avs win, you win at Papa John's. All season long, the day after every Avs win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at papajohns.com by entering promo code AVS. That's right. Just enter promo code AVS online at papajohns.com the day after every Avs win for 50% off your entire online order.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
When you go to buy a car, what do you really want? You probably want a lot of cars to choose from. And you want the dealership's best price. Not some starting price or target price, the best price. And you want it immediately, not after hours of negotiating. And you want a salesperson who doesn't get paid more if you spend more. Because, well, you don't want to spend more. Well, you're in luck. John Elway wants all of those things too. Better yet, John Elway wants you to have all of those things too. Come see us or click on johnelwaychevrolet.com.
Let's get right to it. Troy Rink's on Skype with us from Dove Valley. He's got a lot going on, so we don't want to keep him. He's getting ready to go to the Super Bowl. We were just having a discussion. Is it possible, Troy, if you're there somewhere, is it possible that a lot of people, including a lot of people here, are wrong that this could be a real high-scoring game?
I don't know about high scoring because I'm not sure their offense can score in the 30s. Broncos offense hasn't done that really against anyone, Woody. But I do think it's going to be a much closer game than the national media believes. I know I've talked and looked into these numbers. I see a game that they could win 27-24, 24-21. I don't think people are showing proper respect for the Broncos at this point. I mean, Carolina's a great team, but I really like the Broncos' chances in this game.
Talk to me about the safeties, T.J. Ward and Darian Stewart. Do you believe both of them will play in this game, and who's more likely to play, and where are your concerns there?
Well, Ward will be healthy. He's fine. He's left ankle, but not as serious as the one that kept him out of the Pittsburgh game and a couple games. He'll be fine. Darian Stewart, we have to keep an eye on him. He sprained his knee, and so 2 weeks, he'll feel better. Can he make it through the game? Can he be effective in the game, Kiz? That does bear watching. I don't have any doubt on Ward. He'll be fine, but Stewart is a little more of a concern at this point.
Don, do you think, let me put this in a proper form of question, do you think that Stewart could take some sort of pain medication into the knee, and because it's such a, I mean, we've heard from a Panthers linebacker that he's going to play with a broken arm and he feels good about it. I mean, would one of the Broncos do that?
He can make pain medication to make it feel better. The issue would be, can he run on it and be effective? I mean, the pain, it'll numb the pain. There's no doubt. I mean, that's unfortunately, that's the culture of football. He'll get to a point where the pain is not the issue. It's can he be effective and push off and move laterally? I don't know. I mean, because again, he's had this hamstring issue. He was unable to finish the game. He's had leg issues throughout his career, hamstrings mainly, but that's where I'm wondering is how effective will he be? Will he be a guy you can trust in coverage? Because they're a different team, as you guys know, when those two safeties are healthy.
The Friday a week out from the Super Bowl is different than the Friday before the Super Bowl. I understand that. But talk about the mood out there this week. And I get the impression they're digging this underdog role.
Yeah, their personality, you know this, kids, their defense loves this. This idea that somehow they're not very good, even though they were the best defense in football. And they are feeding off that, there's no doubt. The thing that Gary Kubiak's done well, and you guys have covered these games, I think all of them, certainly Woody has, he has taken from Mike Shanahan's blueprint to put the game plan in on Thursday. When you get on the plane to arrive, you've already put it in. So they feel like they'd be ready to play a game this Sunday. So when they get to the Super Bowl, you're just polishing it, roughing out the edges. You're not trying to implement a game plan with all those distractions. And I think that's a great idea. Treat this like a normal game week so you're not overwhelmed with responsibility mentally trying to learn a bunch of stuff when you get to the Super Bowl. Final question, Troy. We know you have to run. You covered the Seattle Seahawks 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Are you seeing are you getting any kind of feeling that resembles what the Seahawks were doing? Because they went in as the underdog. They went in as the team that maybe was not being respected. Is it totally different? Is there any reason to bring up that question? Confidence is similar. I see more of the Carolina Panthers and the Seahawks in terms of their bravado and just openness, that confidence that borders on arrogance. This team is confident, Woody, but we haven't seen that brash. We know we're going to win. Yeah, it doesn't matter who we play. We haven't seen that yet from the Broncos. It fits their personality. I'll say that. They're similar in that way. I've never covered a team like Seattle that felt like it's just watching them go through their week like they had the answers to the test. I thought initially it was just kind of like this brash confidence, and by the end of that week, having covered them, I was like, man, they're going to win. They know the test. Somebody's giving them the cliff notes. So I haven't seen that yet, but we'll see how the week develops. But I do see the similarity and confidence in this defense that this team knows if you keep this game close, their defense can win it because they've done it all year. Troy Rink, best beat writer in the NFL, right here in Denver, heading off. We'll see you on the show next week. Troy Rink. See it. We'll now take a break with Molly Hughes.
Hello, I'm Molly Hughes in the Denver Post newsroom. There's a big Broncos party this weekend, and guess what? You're invited. Come one, come all, as the city sends off the AFC champs to the Super Bowl. There was a great turnout at this rally leading up to the Broncos AFC championship game, so now it's time to take things to the next level as the team advances to Super Bowl 50. The Broncos rally send-off party is this Sunday, January 31st at Civic Center Park by the state capitol. The gathering will be on the west side of the park in front of the Denver City County building on Bannock Street. The rally is set to run from 1 o'clock on Sunday to 2:30. Everyone is welcome. The Broncos Country Fan Rally will be held, rain or shine. Broncos fans who just can't get enough can also attend a second rally in Brighton next Friday, February 5th. Denver Mayor Michael Hancock is encouraging all fans to attend, so break out every piece of orange clothing you have. It's going to be chilly out there. Show your support as the Broncos pursue their third Lombardi Trophy.
When you go to buy a car, what do you really want? You probably want a lot of cars to choose from. And you want the dealership's best price. Not some starting price or target price, the best price. And you want it immediately, not after hours of negotiating. And you want a salesperson who doesn't get paid more if you spend more. Because, well, you don't want to spend more. Well, you're in luck. John Elway wants all of those things too. Better yet, John Elway wants you to have all of those things too. Come see us or click on johnelwaychevrolet.com.
So the guy wrote the column, and you and I have been columnists for a long time, combined probably 60 years. And he said, that game last night was indescribable. And then he spent 800 words describing it.
Sounds like a good written column to me. Sounds like something I would have done.
4 on the floor, the first one. Nobody from the Nuggets made the All-Star team game again. I guess Kenneth Faried might have been the last guy to do it. Would that be fair? Should Gallinari have been added to the team?
Talk about no respect. Here on the Denver Post set, we can't even spell Gallinari's name right. So how can he make the All-Star team?
Well, people couldn't fill in his name.
That's right. They didn't know how to spell it. But he's had a good season. He's come back from the injury. That's reassuring. But he's not an all-star. Come on, you can't be an all-star when your team's 10 games under 500.
Plus, he's not in the top 12 players. I saw the 12 players. I thought, well, he had a chance if they expanded their rosters to 20 or 5 guys drop out. Maybe they'll get around him. I would rather address that I think Moutier has the best chance to be the next all-star.
I'll take Jokic. You can have Moutier.
Yeah, and that would be my second choice. But I think Moutier is going to be up there in terms of scoring and assists next year, and that might be the next guy.
What if they had a Pro Bowl and nobody showed up?
Well, that happened this year almost. I think that between the fact that there were like 53 players on the Pro Bowl who said, nope, the New England Patriots had 7 players on the Pro Bowl, and not one of them's going.
Is that right? All of them are bailing? Because I'd heard like 6, but they're all bailing?
All 7 of them bailed. The players want to be selected at the Pro Bowl. They'd like to go to Hawaii, but they don't want to have anything to do with the game. Yeah, so as much as I like that there's a Pro Bowl and throwing a bone to Hawaii, our 50th state, and I enjoyed just watching it for a fun time, but if the players aren't going to play, get rid of it.
I agree with you. John Scott, who's gotten a lot of pub lately, says he was asked by the NFL if his kids would be proud if he played in the game. He's indignant. Should he be?
Yeah.
Two weeks ago, I didn't even know who the heck John Scott was. He's indignant. He should be delighted.
Yeah, but
now everybody says his name.
Why would it? If let's say he put it out there, if somebody in the NHL said to him, because I've heard from my ESPN show and people that they did ask him. They said, "You can go to the game. How about if you go to the game and we bring your family and you just don't play?" I mean, the NHL really tried, and Coyotes traded him. They sent him back to the minor leagues. He has gotten publicity, but don't say to him sarcastically, Will your kids really be proud of you?
It's a 3-on-3 tournament. It's hokey. Who cares who plays in the game? Ovechkin and Jonathan Toews have bailed, and Jonathan Toews so much doesn't want to play in it, he's going to have a 1-game suspension, and that's against the Avs. So there you go.
Finally, I love going to San Francisco for a number of reasons, but one of them is the smell. I love the smell of garlic fries in the morning.
You eat garlic fries in the morning?
Well, if I'm at AT&T ballpark,
Okay.
At the Raiders games, yes, at the Raiders games because of the food they serve. We can walk right out of the press box, and there's concession stands, and I can get me some garlic fries. I love me some garlic fries. They're the best fries in the world. Do you like them or chili cheese fries?
I'm going garlic fries, so it's not a very good argument, but chili cheese is too much junk on my potato. I want to taste the potato, so if you add some garlic, I can taste the potato.
Yeah, to me now it becomes a soup or something. You put chili on it, you put cheese on it.
Chili cheese fries is
now
soup.
it's not
that
fries
That will be a question
anymore.
next week.
4 on the Floor is sponsored. Garlic fries. You never had them? You have them. 4 on the Floor is sponsored by Citywide Banks, a family-owned, Colorado-focused business bank with 12 locations across Denver and Boulder with 25 services that can help your business. They're a passionate supporter of 150 Colorado charities, and they ask us to actually promote that fact or to make it clear that they do believe in the community, unlike what he's talking about earlier. Citywide Banks.
I am Citywide Banks.
I am Citywide Banks.
At Citywide Banks,
We put you first by exceeding your service expectations every day.
Every day.
When you go to buy a car, what do you really want? You probably want a lot of cars to choose from. And you want the dealership's best price. Not some starting price or target price, the best price. And you want it immediately, not after hours of negotiating. And you want a salesperson who doesn't get paid more if you spend more. Because, well, you don't want to spend more. Well, you're in luck. John Elway wants all of those things too. Better yet, John Elway wants you to have all of those things too. Come see us or click on johnelwaychevrolet.com.
This is The Sports Show, is presented by the Denver Post and John Elway Chevrolet, Mark Kiszla. I'm Woody Paige, but the real star of this show is Madison Faulkner with her daily mailbag. Madison, where are we standing on people who believe the Panthers or the Broncos are going to win the game?
So the Broncos have 53% among all of our Twitter voters, and the Panthers are voted 47% to win. So.
And we have to, truth in advertising, that most of our Twitter followers are in somewhere in Colorado, I would think.
All right, and so our first tweet today is from Jamie and Connie.
Jamie and Connie.
Jamie and Connie.
Make
And
her
they
come back.
want to know, can you sum up the Broncos season so far with a famous song title?
Oh, Don't Stop Believing. I wrote that in a column. Journey, Don't Stop Believing. Can that sum up the season? Yeah, with all they went through with the suspensions and injuries on defense, a lousy offensive line, Peyton Manning getting hurt, Brock Osweiler starting his first game, all the stuff that's happened, new coaches, new everything, Don't Stop Believing. I think that was been their
Peyton Manning can't throw it anymore, so the Broncos are born to run.
Oh, yeah. 99 yards last week. Okay. That's good. Yeah.
That's the best I could do. I didn't say it was
Well,
good.
country and western tune. You could have said, if the phone don't ring, you'll know it's me.
What's the next question? Jamie and Connie asked too hard a questions for me.
The next question is from KW Mr. Sports Talk, and they want to know, how does the Las Vegas Raiders sound to you?
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. The Raiders are Vegas, and the Vegas are the Raiders. I mean, Roger Goodell will never let it happen, but the Raiders should be in Oakland. I firmly believe that. But if they're going to move, don't move to San Antonio. Don't move to Los Angeles. Don't move to St. Louis. Las Vegas Raiders would be perfect.
The Raiders are closer to the Super Bowl stadium than San Francisco is. You can go from Oakland to Santa Clara in less time than it takes.
So you want them to be the Santa Clara Raiders?
No, Oakland Raiders play in Santa Clara.
Okay.
The New York Jets and the New York Giants play in another state. Hello. The New England Patriots don't play in Boston. They play in some place. It's a hellhole out in the middle of nowhere.
Wow.
Teams don't play. Do the Dallas Cowboys play in Dallas?
No.
I can keep going. Go play in the stadium. You can put black covers over the red seats when you play there. God, it's right there. It's right in front. They are not going to let them move to Las Vegas. I'd be happy to go there. But you can't gamble. It's a state law. You can't have gambling on an event in your state. That means that if the Raiders play the Cowboys, nobody can bet on the game. It's not going to work. There.
You got him all worked up. Are you done now?
Yeah.
Is he done now?
Well, let's see.
No, there's one more.
Yeah, well, there's one more. Our last tweet is from Gamesta1, and he wants to know, does Gary think he has a confident plan for the Panthers, and is Brock ready if needed?
Brock could play if needed. So his knee injury was more serious than was originally led on, but I've seen him in practice. He's moving around well, so if he's needed, he can play. And as Troy Rink just told us, Gary Kubek's adopted the Mike Shanahan philosophy that the game plan will be in by the time they hit the ground in California. So they already know whether they like the game plan or not.
Yeah, and that's always a smart idea. It's a lot smarter than when they waited to get there. You go ahead and get the framework out of the way. So when you get there, you can spend the week polishing, dealing with the other stuff, kind of clarifying what you're kind of doing. That not walkthroughs, but you are kind of revisiting.
You're rehearsing.
Yeah. So
you're not learning.
I'm sure they're really happy with what their game plan is. Now, whether that's right or not, that's still to be determined. So, thank you, Madison.
Thanks, guys.
Are we going to see you in San Francisco?
Yes, you will be.
Are you really happy about that?
I'm excited.
Okay.
She's packing. Smile.
She's having to choose which 7 of her Broncos-related outfits she's going to take with her, or 14 twice a day. Elway Chevrolet on South Broadway, our sponsor.
When you go to buy a car, what do you really want? You probably want a lot of cars to choose from. And you want the dealership's best price. Not some starting price or target price, the best price. And you want it immediately, not after hours of negotiating. And you want a salesperson who doesn't get paid more if you spend more. Because, well, you don't want to spend more. Well, you're in luck. John Elway wants all of those things too. Better yet, John Elway wants you to have all of those things too. Come see us or click on johnelwaychevrolet.com.
We finish up today with Pick 6.
6 plays you'd like to see from the Broncos in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Number 6 for me is runs by C.J. Anderson, but not Ronnie Hillman. I'm not a Ronnie Hillman fan. I'm sorry, Ronnie. And Ronnie, this is your last game in Denver, so I wish you well wherever you go. But if the Broncos want to win the game, they got to give the rock to C.J., not Ronnie. You mentioned this earlier, so I didn't mean to steal it, but I'm going to steal it. I want to see a jet sweep or a little end around. I want to run Emmanuel Sanders once. Kubiak's offense is a lot like Shanahan's offense from back in the day. And if you remember Shanahan's offense, there was always motion. Usually it was by Rod Smith. And once every other game, Rod would get the ball on the end around. So let's pull that one out of the bag. Number 4, Owen Daniels against Luke Kuechly. Luke Kuechly is the Panthers' best defensive player. My idea, just the way teams run at Von Miller to slow down his pass rush, I want to take Owen Daniels and actually run him on a pass route at Luke, so Luke can't roam the field and has to cover the tight end some. They did that against Jamie Collins.
Yeah, can I add that to that? Yeah. The other thing you could do is you can run him at the linebacker
Kuechly
and use him as a pig play almost, and then run somebody, Emmanuel or something, past him, that you can use him, that when he then expects to be hit, then you throw it to Owen Daniels.
Okay. Number 3 is a secret weapon. Peyton Manning scramble. Okay, only one time, but Peyton was joking yesterday that after he showed that first down scramble where he went head first rather than sliding, he says he'll be surprised if the Panthers don't have to put a spy on him. Take that at face value you want. Any pass in the direction of cornerback Robert McClain. Josh Norman is a great cornerback, had the best season of any cornerback in the league, but on the other side of the field, I think you can make some hay. And the number one play I want to see is John Elway holding up the Lombardi Trophy and saying, "This one's for Mr. B."
Those are really good. Those are great. I said I was going to have a little bit more fun with it than you, and my 6 are not up there, so I'm just I'm winging this today. Number 6, I want to see an onside kick. And I'm not talking about at the end of the game when you're behind.
You want to just slip it in there.
Sean Payton slipped it in against Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts, and it worked. So why can't you score? Owen Daniels pass again. You score and you do an onside kick.
Alabama used it to great effect in the national championship game on the college level.
Because teams do really relax, and they don't have their, quote, good hands teams out there to begin with. I always look. They've got linebackers and they've got a couple of backup running backs.
Well, here's the idea that why it could work. If you're really that confident in your defense, even if it doesn't work, so the Panthers get the ball about their own 45. If you're confident in that Broncos defense, then you believe they can hold the Panthers anyway.
Number 5. This is another play that we only see at the end of games. What is that? Flea flicker. I'm sorry. That's number 4. Go ahead with this.
Which one is number 5?
Number 5. I want to see a flea flicker.
Okay.
We haven't seen that from the Broncos in years. I don't even remember the last time we ever saw a flea flicker. And what I mean by that is...
The flea flicker hasn't worked since about 1974.
You sound like a girlfriend I used to have. You hand it off. He's such a good play-action guy. You hand it off to CJ. And he goes in the line, and he flips it back to Manning.
Okay.
Then Manning
could work.
Then Manning throws it to CJ.
Okay.
Not the long pass, but CJ. Number 3 is the one that number 4 was the one I was getting at. Here's what I want to see, the hook and ladder. You see that at the end of games, that teams will throw. Why don't you do that earlier in the game?
Okay, I like the hook and ladder better than the flea flicker.
Okay. Well,
I think you're on to something with the hook and ladder.
But the hook and ladder, how many times you see it? You see it that a team is behind and they're trying to desperation or something, and so they throw it to a guy and he flips it, and the next guy runs for 15, 18 yards, and they finally turn it
You do that off the bubble screen, that look that they run all the time to Demaryius Thomas, and it might be a little trickeration that actually works.
So you stole kind of, and I stole it, I said it earlier, so we're in agreement. I would see Emmanuel Sanders on an end around a couple of times in the game, but I also want to see a variation off it. First time you fake it. The second time you give it to him. The third time he gives it to Ronnie Hillman.
Okay,
that's how you use Ronnie Hillman.
And that's a Shanahan idea, different plays off the same look.
And that's what he always did, and Gary really doesn't do that. That Shanahan had 6 or 7 basic plays, and then he run like 15 variations off them. So that's my next play that I have. The next play that I got, so that's
2 plays left.
I got 2 plays left, and I like
and
your
90
last one.
seconds.
Okay, so I got 90 seconds to do it. Here's what I want. Terrell Davis. When Terrell Davis is doing it, I think you can do it with C.J. Anderson. They needed to play on 4th down, and Elway did scramble. You're talking about it. Did go out to his right, and then he flipped it to C.J. Anderson. And they've done that a couple of times this year. It's not the stretch play. It's
not a read option.
It's not a read option. It is just, that could be run with Ronnie Hillman, where you get him to the corner.
That's true.
And that way you're slowing down the final thing, which I brought up last week, and I'm going to bring it up again. I want to see them throw to C.J. Anderson and Ronnie Hillman out of the backfield.
Gotcha.
I think that will be successful against this group of linebackers. So those are the plays that I want to see in the game. That wraps us up for the week. When you see us again, we'll be in San Francisco. All next week, we'll have 3 hours of shows. We'll have guests from all over the world of sports and entertainment and whatever profession you might be in. And so we'll have a show like this every day, and then we'll have another 2 hours that we'll be interviewing guests. Well, you can follow us on denverpost.com. You can reach out on woodypage.com, see our YouTube channel, go to our Facebook page. Thank you for so many of you joining our Facebook, and stay tuned for Molly Hughes with a sports update, and we'll see you when we get to San Francisco. Have a great weekend.
Hello, I'm Molly Hughes in the Denver Post newsroom. Some Broncos fans are getting fired up and let down as they attempt to buy tickets to Super Bowl 50. Some are wondering what the Denver Broncos are hiding. The team's front office is refusing to reveal how many tickets were released at face value to its 23,000 season ticket holders. But fans think it's not enough. We know the Broncos franchise received as many as 11,000 tickets from the NFL to disperse how they choose. An unknown number of Broncos season ticket holders were selected in a lottery and got an email allowing them to buy their tickets at face value on Wednesday. The remaining season ticket holders got an email encouraging them to buy tickets through Prime Sports, the Broncos travel partner. Prime Sports is now reselling those tickets in travel packages ranging from $2,000 up to $7,500 per ticket. The team and the NFL are refusing to disclose how many tickets were sold to season ticket holders, how many were sold to Prime Sports, or how many tickets were dispersed internally within the organization. To see what information the NFL is releasing about the ticket breakdown, scroll down to the end of this attached story.
Hello, my name is Greg Stone, President and General Manager, and I would like to personally thank you for making Cooney Lexus of Greenwood Village the #1 Lexus dealer in Colorado.
Cooney Lexus of Greenwood Village, for exceptional customer service and world-class amenities. Take in the beauty of the Rocky Mountains from our rooftop patio. Relax while enjoying a movie in our premium theater. This is the ultimate luxury car buying experience. Visit Cooney Lexus of Greenwood Village or Cooney Lexus of Colorado Springs. Click CooneyLexus.com.
When you go to buy a car, what do you really want? You probably want a lot of cars to choose from. And you want the dealership's best price. Not some starting price or target price, the best price. And you want it immediately, not after hours of negotiating. And you want a salesperson who doesn't get paid more if you spend more. Because, well, you don't want to spend more. Well, you're in luck. John Elway wants all of those things too. Better yet, John Elway wants you to have all of those things too. Come see us or click on johnelwaychevrolet.com.